Hi class, this is Mr. T, and if you saw the previous introduction you will know that I am standing at the William Wallace Monument, and I am in Scotland in Stirling. Stirling's supposed to be the gateway to the Highlands, and William Wallace was a commoner in 1297 who rose up and beat the English at the Battle of Stirling Bridge, and many knights and soldiers died of the English. And William Wallace, or Sir William Wallace, became the defender and protector of Scotland. But unfortunately in 1305 William Wallace was captured, hung, drawn and quartered. But William Wallace and Wallace's Monument, built in 1862, and beautiful lands around us. To our left we have Stirling Castle, beautiful lands, hills and mountains out to the side. So today we are looking at P1 of managing a successful business project. And P1 says devise project aims and objectives. So basically, with the theme this year, which is corporate social responsibility, and with the theme taken by the college, depending upon which option they selected to go for, you would need to come up for your business project aims and objectives. So we really need to go into more detail and decide and understand what is an aim and what is an objective. So an aim is what you hope to do, your overall intention in the project. It aims to show what and where you aspire to be at the end. So again, the aim is what you hope to do and your overall intention of the project, what exactly you want the final outcome to be. An aim is usually written and usually starts with "my aim is." The aim, I would suggest, would need to be quite specific, because if the aim is not specific in terms of your business project, then how do you know that you've achieved your aim or not? So one of the first companies I worked for was a company called Metro Products, and they sold mechanical steering wheel immobilizers. The immobilizers which you put on the steering wheel on your car, the yellow with the grey bar, and it stopped someone driving off with your car because the bar would hit onto your knees. So I was given a small budget of £30,000 to start off a marketing campaign to see if marketing could be successful for the company. So obviously we've got the whole of the UK with a small budget. Exactly what am I trying to show, and where am I trying to use this money to show that I'm going to be successful? So obviously the first thing I need to do is to come up with aims. And my aim was basically to increase sales in a given area or given location by 15% from the same period last year in comparison, over a period of 6 months. So to show that increase in sales of 15% in a given area, comparing this year's sales figures as opposed to last year's sales figures, to justify the costs that would be spent actually undertaking this project. And really they just wanted to see that these costs spent would actually pay for itself. They wasn't really looking at this point in time to see if it would show an increase, but at the very least, at the very minimum, that to break even and that it would get their money back spent on that project. So they wanted to find out if marketing actually worked. So when you're looking at your aims for your project, you have to look at what exactly are you trying to achieve, over what time period are you trying to look at it. Is it going to be specific production of a specific product to get to market? Is it within a specific cost over a specific time period? Or are you trying to increase sales over a specific time period? By how much? When? What are you comparing it to? So the aims needs to be a written statement, and it needs to be clear and it needs to be concise, because if it's not clear and if it's not concise, then you really cannot measure it. But the question also says devise project aims and objectives, so you also need to look at objectives. But what are objectives? Objectives are more than one, and these will be specific steps that you need to take to achieve your aim. So the objectives are specific steps that you need to take to achieve your aim. So what's the difference between an aim and an objective? Well, the difference between an aim and objective is that the aim is what you are trying to achieve, and the objective is how you achieve your aim. I'll just say that one more time. So the aim is what you're trying to achieve, and the objective is how you achieve your aim. So it's a clear distinction between aims and objectives, and it's increasingly important to understand that difference and not to mix the two up. So objectives, these are usually expressed in active sentences, and they may start like, in order to achieve this aim, I will need to collect, construct, produce, test, trial, measure, etc. And these objectives will then move towards achieving that aim. Now these objectives will need to be quite precise, and they need to be practical, doable and achievable. Because if these objectives are not practical, doable and achievable, there's no way you can achieve them, so there's no way you can meet your aims. So just to give you an example, when I had a budget of £30,000 for Metro products, I had to show that the marketing department works and that spending this money would at least break even. And I had the aims in terms of increasing sales in a given area by 15% over a 6-month period from the same time from this year in comparison to the same time last year. So what were my objectives for the company? Well, my objectives were quite a number of objectives to achieve this aim, because I had to undertake a marketing campaign. So the first thing I need to do was to determine fairly quickly, within a 2-week period, where we wanted to undertake this marketing campaign. Now, bearing in mind this product is all to do with car crime, and it's to do with stopping people from stealing your car. So I decided to look at the government statistics on car crime. And I looked at these government statistics, and we found out that all over the country there was a high number of car crime, but the highest number of car crime was in Nottinghamshire, and it was seen that one car was stolen every minute of the day. So therefore we decided to actually target Nottinghamshire. We had to determine when this campaign would take place. So we had to set a date and a deadline for this campaign. So we set it in August and September. We had to determine what advertising we were going to undertake. And we decided that we would do bus back advertising in Nottinghamshire. But we decided that we would take 15% advertising of those buses in relation to the stockists that stocked our products in Nottingham. So if there was the different stockists were Motorworld, B&Q, Texas, Halfords, A1 Motor Stores, and then these stores we would pin out on a map and then put these in location to the local depots, and then for those depots within a 3-mile radius take 15% of those buses, because taking 15% of those buses we knew would increase consumer awareness and interest with the product, whereby consumers in their cars behind the buses, because we would advertise on the back of buses, would then see these ads at least 15 to 20 times in a 1-month period. We also decided that we were going to advertise on local radio, and that this radio campaign would coincide with halfway into the bus back campaign and then continuing after the bus back campaign. So the bus back campaign would start for 1 month and the radio campaign would be for 1 month. We had to work out the daily rotation basis, when the ads would take place, and the costings, and what we were trying to achieve. We also had to come up with a radio ad as well, and have that ad ready in time for the radio stations to play these ads. We had to also have ads ready for the local papers, and then the local papers again would place these ads after the radio campaign. So it was a continuous basis of creating awareness and interest for the end consumer in relation to car crime. In addition to that, we had to provide material for our stockists who were selling our products, and these materials included posters. And they included A4 posters, included A5 leaflets, included an A5 leaflet holder, a display unit holding 6 of our product units. We also had to come up with an objective to have a staff incentive. So for every one product that a member of staff sold, then they would get £1 back. So that would incentivize them to actually sell the products. And again, we had a objective in terms of creating a record form, so we could get these record forms back, and then a report of sales to make sure they tallied up with those sales by individual staffs and stockists. We had to conduct a presentation, an